Buckle up, Buttercup. Live from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Podcasting around the world. You're listening to the GloucesterCast podcast, a production of Joey Shimataro and Good Morning Gloucester Media. Kick back, relax, and enjoy the show with your host, Joey Shimataro, and his crew of merry castaways. No piping plovers will be intentionally harmed in the production of this podcast.
What are you
And we're live.
We're live?
GloucesterCast 475.
Woo! 75.
A stripper was here.
1/3 of our production is coming from Marathon Key, Florida.
Florida, Mass.
Florida, Mass.
Florida,
Mass. Is, we're going to do our introductions with Scottie Mac, top left.
Good morning, Gloucester.
Chris McCarthy.
Good morning, Gloucester! Yo!
Russ Steves.
Hey, everybody from Florida.
John.
John.
John Hawkshaw. Hey, everyone. Good morning.
From Florida, Mass.
We got, did I introduce Jimmy?
No.
Jimmy Dalpiaz.
Hi.
Pat Dalpiaz on the
Good morning.
keyboard.
Yep.
Joey Shimataro, your host off camera, and Paul Horovitz down the bottom, rounding out the cast.
Good morning, Gloucester.
Good morning, everybody. One big piece of little thing that I want to get out of the way right off the bat. If you share the podcast and comment shared, you'll be eligible for today's prize drawing. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Creamer.
We got a
It's
creamer.
a creamer. This is a
Very
special
valued.
creamer.
It's very valued
Half and
around
half.
here this morning.
It's a half and half delight,
So we got that going for us.
which is nice.
Which is nice. Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Last night, Caddyshack was on.
Oh,
Watched it. Tried to get the kids into it. They just,
that's one of those movies, Joey, where you're flipping through the channels, and no matter what part of the movie it's on, you have to stop, go no further, and finish that movie out.
100%. I don't know if there's a more quotable movie than Caddyshack. Can anybody think of a more quotable movie?
Well, probably Animal House. There's
Prob-
probably a few from Animal
Yeah.
House.
Probably 10 with Bo Derek.
And Jim, when you
Wait,
bring
what
up
quotes or
Anything with both.
Animal House, wasn't that written or directed by the same guy?
Harold Ramis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Look at you.
What a career of Harold Ramis. Ghostbusters, Caddyshack.
Wow.
Stripes.
There is
Stripes.
He played, and he was in Stripes too.
there is a Bill Murray. There's a William Murray golf line that you
Yeah.
can buy
I
his
saw that.
clothes and the hat that's like from Caddyshack.
Can you
And
smoke the
also-
bejesus out of it?
So the guy, Lou, what was the guy that ran the Lou? Was that the guy's name that ran the
Losing at the track.
Lou's losing at the track?
Coke's
So-
up 50 cents.
If you see him in Caddyshack, and he's been in movies, there's bit roles throughout. He was in Malcolm in the Middle as well. A bunch of things. He is an enormous butterball of a guy in
Really?
Caddyshack. He's like
Really?
guy. Yeah. it's
Yeah.
pretty-
Here's a fun fact for you,
Okay.
bringing it right home here to Gloucester. The guy that played Denunzo, the
Yeah.
cut off sleeves,
Yeah.
lives in Magnolia.
Get the fuck
Lives
in
we
Magnolia.
need to get him on the show.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, my God.
Do you know
He
him?
lives. I know his son.
His
Oh, my
son?
God.
His son.
Why? Is he?
He hangs around Gloucester, and he's worked in the restaurant industry. And we were
Wow.
by his house, and he says, his father's in the movies. And I said, well, which one? And I started quoting Caddyshack that night. And he
Oh,
goes,
my God.
how do you know all my father's lines?
Oh, that is great.
And yeah, so he's right in Magnolia, right off of Ocean.
You've been
Ocean Ave.
holding this for me
Yeah.
because
It just comes up, and here it is.
Wow. That would be a
we got to
blast.
get him on. We got to get him
Yeah.
on. That's all there is to that. So we got a bunch of people that have chimed in so far. Ed Collins with us, Joanne
Hi,
Lee's
Ed.
with us, Joey Foot's with us,
Hey,
Michael
Joey.
Berlino, Paula, Ryan O'Brien, the birthday girl is with us.
Yep.
Susan Casey Gibson is with us. This is the anniversary of the day when Paula, I think, was heading to
Ireland.
to the old country.
Yes, it was 1 year ago.
Because I was leaving the day after her to go to Spain.
Yeah.
And she was going there. Anyway, we have Michael Dekoster will be joining us at 40 as well. One of the first. Oh, we should talk about Becca Rose too. Becca Rose Murray. If anybody saw the last podcast, you can use our votes for Inked Magazine's 2021 Cover Girl contest. Pat's going to put up a link right now. And if you could vote, it doesn't cost you anything to vote, and you can vote daily. You got it, Pat?
Yep.
Well, a fun fact from Becca Murray, I DJ'd her wedding in Annisquam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, great time.
Well, she had nothing but nice things to say about you. When we mentioned you.
Thank you, Becca.
Hey, Joey, you can vote for free once a day, but if you want to make a donation to Music Cares, which is a fund that supports the musicians and artists, you get one vote for $1.
Can you put it up right now?
It is up. It's up.
Oh, you're going to put that on.
Is that what we're talking about?
No,
It's the voting link.
Pat, I'd like it in the.
Okay.
I'd like it so people can click on it and actually vote.
folks.
That'd be great.
I think Jerry needs a Snickers bar this morning.
No, that would be great.
No,
Snickers
he
bar.
did say that. And then...
I went over this earlier.
I mean, we prepped for 3 hours, Pat, and you know.
There you go, Pat. Thank you very much. Pat, I have to say, Pat did a great job. I have to give credit where credit is due. She compiled our show notes today. So should we get it right out of the way, right off the bat, the beer tasting?
Sure.
All right.
Ooh.
So we're doing it. So
We might as well get sick immediately.
my daughters and I did homebrew, and Jimmy's putting the plastic gloves on.
Jimmy, you don't. I'm not getting a test.
No, Joey, I have to add that most fathers and sons and daughters at home, they go through like watercolors or Legos. You've chosen the art of crafting beer yourself.
Well, I didn't choose
How does
it.
that come about?
I didn't choose it. They bought it for me for Father's Day.
Oh, okay, so this is how it came about.
It's a kit. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Look at this.
It's not.
I'm gonna bring it around, Jimmy. And
I'd wear the gloves too.
There's a little bit of sediment at the bottom. So I don't know. I'll take this one.
I mean, this looks much like
A urine sample.
my urine this morning when I.
Oh.
I mean, I'm gonna have to pass. I think.
Oh, you have to try it.
I do.
I did the mashubi fucking thing.
Mashubi, okay.
I almost expect like an egg to be in this. Like a pickled egg.
All right. Don't shake it up because you don't want to get that sediment.
Okay.
All right, we got Jimmy.
Where are the cups? Oh, right here.
No. Drink it out of the thing.
Jesus. Did you wash the glasses?
I washed. Everything was disinfected. Everything was disinfected.
How come there was no?
Is this Sister Felicia Tuple jar?
How come there was
It
no
may or may not have been-
carbonation? No carbonation
It
pop.
may or may not have been Zugu in there
Put them
before.
in Tuple in here.
Give me wait. Before you drink it, give me your first observations with the sniff test. Does it smell like beer?
No.
Smells like
Vinegar?
It's just
smells like something.
Mine smells like urine.
Jimmy, you're not on camera. I'm gonna beg you to
There's
please get
a
inside.
very faint hint of some sort of beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very faint.
All right. Let's go.
It smells like the beer that.
Are we
is on the
rating this
floor.
or
You just the rating system is pass fail.
pass fail?
Like, would you drink it again?
This is the feed. What people are saying.
That's a good question, Carol.
It tastes like beer.
It does taste like beer.
It's like an IPA, a little
Yeah.
IPA-ish.
It's light.
It's very light.
Yeah, right?
I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go out and buy it, but I would. But I mean, I think we successfully made beer.
I think I would drink it on Father's Day to show my kids.
I'd say you made cask beer because there's no carbonation in mine.
Yeah, but that's a subset of the beer world. That's a very elite.
Cask.
I'm gonna say that was a very thoughtful gift for me.
Very
daughters.
thoughtful. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's very good. Madline and
Halloween.
I love the fact that it's cold right out of the
We'll
fridge.
save you some. We have to save
No,
him some.
you know why it's cold out of the fridge? Because I have to bark at Jimmy 5 times because he always wants to get the beer and leave it on the table for 4 hours before we drink it.
If this was warm, it wouldn't have.
Is that true?
You know what would go well with this beer? Is Snickers. What do you think?
Snickers is good. Okay, so there we go. We tried it. We tried it, and there we go. What did I do to make this beer? I got this off.
So we'll leave some for the rest of your family members. I know you want to share this with others.
Bring some home to vote.
Yeah, and actually, this is the giveaway. Yes.
Everybody's gonna retract their
Their
share.
shares,
They're
yeah.
gonna retract it.
Yeah.
So there we go.
We're giving it back?
Well, you don't have.
I'll give it back later, but not now.
Carol knows that they accidentally make kombucha. I would say that Scott would be much more tasty.
Yeah, but I think it's closer to kombucha.
That
than
was
it is
not
beer.
bad. I mean, I had different expectations for it to be dog shit horrible, and that was not bad.
I thought it might be bitter.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I've never attempted to make beer myself, so if that was my first attempt at it, I would say, sure.
So this is what I would say. And Bobby Ryan, I should mention Bobby Ryan because he wrote to me. He says, "I see that you're trying the beer thing with your daughters, and what it generally comes down to is one of 2 outcomes. You try it, you absolutely fall in love with it, and you become obsessed, and that's why he says that there's so many breweries around. Or it's inedible.
A turn off.
It's such a turn off that you'll just give it up right away.
So would you do it again?
I would not do it again, and this is the reason why. It is an unbelievable amount of work
Time
to produce.
Well, walk us through it. I mean, we're drinking the final product. What was the process? Quick synopsis. What was the process?
You got to boil a bunch of hops and grains, and you got to keep it at a certain temperature for a certain thing. You got to strain it. You got to put it back, and then you got to add other stuff, and then you got to
give me the time frame of when start to finish. That's what I'm looking for.
And you have to
it was
seriously.
it was like 3 weeks ago, so I think it was like, and my memory is terrible, but I want to say it's like 3.5 hours of putting it together. Then you put it on a shelf for 2 weeks, and then
so it's like a 2-week process.
It's a 2-week process. There's big front loaded.
You got to clean everything too. You got to make sure everything's clean.
So there's all that.
It reminds me of McSorley's. Anybody been to McSorley's in New York City?
No.
Yeah.
They made their beer down in their basement, and it was either dark or light.
Oh.
And it when I first tasted it, McSorley's came to mind. Paul, you were chuckling. You've been
McSorley's Ale House. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was chuckling thinking about my freshman year of college. One of my roommates decided to make beer, and then we went off for winter break. And I was the first one back in the dorm, and I opened the door, and the bottles had exploded in the closet.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, the experience was the
that must have been nasty.
Yeah.
Really nasty. So next bit of business here. Massachusetts is reopening, and it's time to book your party. 100-person limit indoors, which means your boy Scottie Mac is back in business.
Scottie Mac.
I want to say that the first day that they lifted that, immediately I got a phone call, and then I got another phone call, and then I got another phone call.
Wow.
So I want to thank the 3 people right off the bat on the first day.
Yeah.
Already people are excited. So am I. And not only that, anticipating this was going to happen, I made a few phone calls to some of the local establishments to go ahead and have a unmasked party. We're going to have Scottie Mac unmasked. We're not going to be wearing a mask, but we'd like to get back to business,
Everybody's happy for you.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you.
Yeah. Chris, this is one of your topics right here. I can't move to Gloucester. I wasn't born there.
Yeah, so we were enjoying a cigar at the Cigar Shack in Rowley the other day, and we met a bunch of guys, and one of them asked where we were from, and we said Gloucester, and he said, Gloucester? He goes, oh, I can't move to Gloucester. I wasn't born there. And I thought it was an interesting comment because I think a lot of people think that I think everybody knows Gloucester's a very tight knit group, and it was just interesting to hear an outsider's perspective of Gloucester and how he thought it would be hard to move to a place like this and break into, the community and become.
I think that's not the case like it was maybe 20 years ago.
Right.
But I think two abutting towns are much more would be tougher to ever be considered a local would be Manchester and Rockport. Like I think those townies are much more hardcore townies than Gloucester townies.
The guy was telling us how he comes to Gloucester for all the meals,
and
he does shopping here. So we just brought up, why don't you just move there?
Yeah, and that's
I can't.
That's when he made that comment.
Yeah.
But I've only been here 3 years, and I haven't found it to be the case at all.
I think being from town, Joey, maybe you can attest to this also, is that it's like a double-edged sword in town for the outsiders coming in because, everybody knows your business. I mean, it's a small town. Come on, let's just be honest. Most everybody, if they don't know your business, they want to know your business. And also on the other side of it is that the community is so great that they rally around each other when you really need them. So it's like kind of, it could go both ways. I could see that being a concern. People coming from out of town wanting to move here permanently.
Yeah, but I think would you not agree that it's become a lot more? Gloucester is 100 times more welcoming than it was 20 years ago.
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean, there's a lot more stuff to do. I mean, a lot more, like you said, the restaurants and coming up here for the food, like the guy would say to you, Jim. So, I mean, there's a lot more draw, and I think that the Discovered Gloucester and those other programs that are in place in the city actually make it a lot more inviting than it used to be.
Yeah.
Chamber does a great job. I mean, everybody.
Yeah. The moral of the story is,
your comment about Joey, people reaching out to helping people. I watched the Annisquam Village Players thing last night, and Carol Cox, the Cox family of Coxco dumpsters, and Tom Moriarty were both on performing, and Carol had been and Tom is now the president of something locally here in my corner of Gloucester called Good Neighbors, and there's probably 50 people involved who take people to doctor's appointments, bring meals, help out for all sorts of things. That's just something that doesn't happen in a lot of places.
Yeah, for sure. Paul, you and Pat both have had your second vaccinations.
Yes.
And we wanted to hear a little bit about your reactions.
Well, I literally didn't have any.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I work with a bunch of people who are a lot younger and several people who are in the medical profession, and there seems to be some correlation between age and reaction, that the older you are, the less likely you are to react, and also some gender correlation that women seem to be reacting more than men. And I don't know the science behind that, but that seems to be the, what I'm hearing. But I got to give another shout out to Leahy. They had this thing down pat, and I have to wonder, with all the great medical providers we have in this state, why the state didn't just get in the business of getting the vaccine to the people who knew how to make appointments and put shots in arms.
I think that my guess is that they didn't want people that potentially had COVID to go into the hospital. There's least people going to the hospital.
Yeah, but they didn't do it in hospitals, Joey, or doctors' offices. Leahy and Beth Israel and then Mass General, Brigham, they've all set up remote sites. And I went to the VFW post in right off the Whole Foods in Beverly.
Yeah,
I can speak on that. I actually received a text message the other day, which I was excited to get. I thought it was, a telemarketer or whatever, but it actually, in a sense, was from Beth Israel Hospital, and said, "Now you are now eligible to get your vaccination shot.
Yep.
Here's the link."
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I click on the link, and it gave me about 9 different locations to choose from.
Interesting.
And then once you choose the location, you go down and it says pick a day and time. So they'll show you all the available appointments that are available. And I clicked on the Victoria Rocky post for one in Beverly to see if I could get a sooner, like a quicker appointment, and they were shut out. But I did get one at the Elks in Gloucester for March 19th at 3 p.m, and that's your appointment. That's your spot.
As you go.
And you know, when you go, I mean, they had 15-minute slots, and they didn't overbook them, so you really weren't waiting in line. Maybe 3 people in front of you, and it was they really did a great job. Pat, where did you have yours?
Well, I had my second shot, it turned out, at the Rose Baker Center. I had been scheduled to go to Salem that afternoon for my second shot, which is where I got my first one because I volunteered at the clinic. So they gave workers their vaccinations that day. And I was working the clinic at Rose Baker that day. I was supposed to go to Salem. So and somebody was sick. So they opened vaccine slot and put me in. So, but to counter your, I guess I'm running counter to your observations because I'm certainly not old.
Really?
Really?
But I had virtually no reaction to the second one. I've been working a couple clinics, and many people come through, and they're very, very nervous about how they might react, and there are legitimately, those are legitimate concerns. But in my case, and I was prepared. I was like, we blocked off the schedule. Maybe I don't want to do anything, but it was. I was tired, but that was it.
I wonder if how some people say, "Oh, the pain and stuff like that." Like if they're just like, being dramatic. Being dramatic.
Sometimes I wondered if they were.
My
bringing
father
some of it on.
just had his second dose from the VA hospital in New Bedford. The first shot, absolutely zero symptoms, except the next day a little soreness on his arm just because where the shot goes in the muscle.
Yeah.
The second shot he had a week ago on Monday, and he was fine. Later that night and for the next 3 days, massive headache, nausea,
Those are the kinds
upstairs,
of
downstairs, like side effects,
Yeah, it's not immediate. When it does happen, it's about a day later.
But if it's as effective as it is,
right?
Like those dull pains or whatever, the nausea, whatever it is, for a day or two,
Yeah.
is a lot less than going through COVID.
Right. And they say that your
But he didn't have
antibodies working.
he got a fever for a few days. He had a massive headache. Again, the nausea, the downstairs stuff.
The downstairs stuff.
And then he was weak. Like he lost all motivation. So that's just his personal side effects that he got.
Right.
But I'm sure some people get none, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But the good news is
We have
that
beer.
Joe and his 2 daughters found the newest vaccine to kill off COVID. So if
I didn't tell
anybody,
you that I filtered this through my body. That's actually urine.
I know it is. I know what we were drinking.
Chris,
Joe.
you ready for your
You
second
can't
dose?
get that by me.
So when you go for your second dose, take that with you because you get your shot, and this is the chaser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And to answer Michael, I don't know the answer to that question. How to sign up for a cancellation list?
I don't think they have
depends
them.
on which clinic it is, because they are all different. They are run differently by different organizations. So I don't know the answer to that question.
So I have a question for everybody. I'm going to go around and we're going to ask, and I'd really like the listeners, the viewers, to chime in on this. With COVID, I feel like I know me personally, I've become more accustomed, less intimidated by using QR codes because every restaurant you go to generally has a QR code on the table. What I didn't realize up until COVID actually started, that to access what the link is from a QR code, all you had to do is open up your camera app. I always thought you had to have a special QR code reader.
Yeah, that's right.
But all you have to do,
I think that might have been true in the beginning.
but now the phones are built with
Right.
QR scanners built into your phone, your camera app.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious, and I'd like to know, I'd like all the people that are watching right now to chime in. Are you more apt to click to open up your camera and scan a QR code now than before COVID? And do you find that it's such a simple thing you wish that you had used it more? There's a two-part question. We're going to start with Scottie now.
All right. So with the inception of QR codes back in the day, I was definitely nervous. I didn't know how to read them. I didn't understand them. Now that the question is, am I more likely to use it now? Is that what the question is, Joe?
Are you more now that this COVID's there and you have to use QR codes to get menus? Do you feel like you're less intimidated by that, and are you more apt to see a random QR code and know that you can just open up your phone and turn on the camera app?
I get it.
And read that way?
I absolutely love it.
You might want to check out here.
Because now you don't have a physical menu. I like both. I like the physical menu to tangible, sit there, whatever. But now in the culture of technology, even when you're sitting at dinner, most people are fidgeting with their phones anyway. I mean, it's kind of sucks that people aren't interacting with each other as much. But hey, look this up and look that up. So with the QR code, it kind of makes it a lot easier. But you actually have to be in that room for that QR code too, unless you're online and you're looking it up on the computer. So you still have to be in that spot where that QR code is. So instead of picking up, your menu and you're using your camera app and you scan on it, now you're in your personal phone. And I guess it's, I don't know. I guess it's weird. It's weird, but I like it.
Yeah. The only gripe that I have is when you open up these menus, the print is like 0.0001 font. And it's like, I mean, yes, it allows you to open it up.
I know it's not.
But when I have to open it up so large where I can only see like 4 letters at a time.
Right.
So it's
that's also on a web developer though for each page. I mean, some restaurants have better setup systems than the next, so to speak, where they're not trying to cram too much information in one small area. Online to them, it's not small, but when you're on your phone or stuff, it definitely comes across that way. So I guess it's on the web developer or the app developer.
I agree with you, Chris, on a lot of stuff there. When I go to a restaurant and they hand you the menu, you open it up, you take a look, you want to see what you have. They'll tell you the specials. I do love the QR thing we can go through. I'm really loving it. But now you got to go search things. You got to go for a while. You're sitting there. But the waitresses still come in and say, and what your first drink? I don't know. I'm still on page 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I haven't found the drink section yet.
Hang on. So
I'm not necessarily, I agree with you. I would actually personally rather have a paper menu than have to use a QR code for a menu because you don't see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, the use of QR codes in, on a product, right? If it has a QR code on it and it says, here's the instructions or whatever, or so you don't clutter up a box with all the pages of instructions, or here's the manual. You can save it here. You click on this, you open up your phone, you click on the button, the camera app, and all of a sudden, all this information becomes aware to you. That, or you can have that linked to a map.
Yeah.
You can have that open to a million different. You can have it perform a million different functions.
Right, and we mentioned some that they're at the city monuments, and another intriguing place. I have seen them less often, but I find it very intriguing, and it might seem off-putting. But QR codes on gravestones.
Oh, wow.
So if you're visiting a gravestone and maybe you're
awesome.
you're somebody like me, and you
and
you want to know if they're your relation or something, you can get their story, and I think that's very, very intriguing.
Yeah.
So Jim's going to put one on my monument for
Nice.
everybody that'll be visiting.
The other place I saw it, and I think it's in East Gloucester somewhere, where I saw a for sale sign, a house for sale sign, and it had a QR code. So someone driving by, if they want to learn more about that particular house, they just go and take a picture of the QR code
and the whole listing sheet
video, the listing sheet.
It could be a ton of stuff.
I have a QR code on my business card, and in fact, it's most of the card. And if because I run a school, and so if someone puts the QR code, they go to our admission site.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
No, it's brilliant.
I don't think I would put it on a gravestone though, because like anything, things are going to evolve. Technology is going to surpass that, and then all of a sudden, now you still have this QR code on your gravestone, and then it's obsolete.
Well,
and it's on there. What are you going to get? A new headstone?
On my grandfather and grandmother's headstone, they have these kind of like round oval, and it's like glued to it.
Okay, yeah, all right.
So I think like with a razor scraper,
but not like inscribed.
No, not inscribed in there. It's usually an add-on sort of a.
Yeah, but that is cool. I like that.
And I think that if I'm not mistaken, when I got my first vaccine, they encourage you. They don't require it. They encourage you to log into the CDC site to report any symptoms or whatever. I think they're gathering data, and that was a QR code to just get to that to that site. So that was easy peasy.
Yeah, no, I think to give someone a complicated URL, like someone, so say someone, and instead of or someone wants your number and you have it, you can just open up your phone and give it to someone.
Next thing you're going to have T-shirts. Ask me about me. There's a QR code, and you scan it.
A tattoo.
Pat, did you answer the question? How you? So anyway, the reason I got to that was because I created a custom one for Good Morning Gloucester.
So we can show what it looks like here.
And what I have it linked to is a page of links of all GMG media.
If you want to show it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is so if you go to the blog right now, you'll see it. But that is the. Hold on. I gotta make this larger. Hold on one sec. So if you do the QR code that I created for Good Morning Gloucester, it brings you to all these different links.
I think that's awesome.
And you can do. There's more actually.
And Joe has this tattooed on multiple parts of his body. So when you're on Wingasheek Beach or Good Harbor Beach this summer, if you see Joe in his Speedo, you can come right up to him and take a picture of the QR code that's
and there's the one. That's the QR code that I created right there.
I've seen the barcode tattoos on people before.
Have you?
I have not seen a QR code though.
Actually, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Hey, that's a good suggestion for Becca Murray for her next tattoo.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Would you get a tattoo? Would you get a tattoo of a barcode on your body if a company gave you $50,000?
That's a good question. My quick answer is no. I don't even have my ears even pierced. Yeah.
Does it have to be visible? Can it be covered? And if so, take the $50,000 and do a cover-up tattoo and add to it. I mean,
it'd have to be like
how long? What's the contract? What's the contract? Well, my agent. Let's talk money here, Chris.
A company would, I think, want it to be visible. I suppose, right? If they were paying you to do it,
they would want it to be visible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pat, do you have any tattoos, Pat?
I do. I don't even have a pierced ear.
You don't even have a pierced ear.
I got nothing.
Really? Jimmy, is that true?
Jim, let's go to Jim.
Where's the tattoo?
Mine or hers?
Hers. He's stuttering.
Pat, when's your birthday?
It's in October.
It's in October. See, it's a perfect birthday gift, Jim.
Yeah.
Tattoo or a pierced ear for Pat.
Yeah.
His and hers.
You could get Scoonie Boo Boo.
Yeah. You would break down my arm. So I made a mistake on the last podcast, and I'll admit to you now that Joey's not in the room because I don't really need him to hear it. But the prizes now, the podcast prize pickup point is at Arts Abound on Lexington Avenue in Magnolia. Then we had a discussion about whether there was Arts Abounds or Arts Abound. And there is no second S. So I made a mistake on that last week. I have admitted it. Joey has not heard it, so that's awesome. That gets me out of that problem. And I also mispronounced artisan last week.
Oh, Jesus.
And
what was the
pronunciation? It's I thought artisan also meant artisan, but it's more related to water and wells and things like that.
Okay, all right.
So
I wanted to give a shout out to Mile Marker and remind all of our fans and listeners and viewers that if you go to Mile Marker for breakfast and rent an igloo from Wednesday through Friday.
Is it an igloo or an igloo?
Igloo. A dome.
A dome?
A dome, a white dome. Remember to mention Good Morning Gloucester, and they will waive the $30 rental fee.
And we don't know how long that might last.
Oh, okay.
So
Might have
I'm
been
not
just
sure.
last week.
It may have been.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
walk us through that one more time. If they're going to waive?
Yeah, so it's $30 if you rent one of those white domes at the mile marker. They have 8 of them, the igloos. And if you mention Good Morning Gloucester between Wednesday and Friday, Patrick, the GM over there, will waive
For breakfast.
For breakfast only. And you have to mention Good Morning Gloucester.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know, Jimmy, you were there Friday
For breakfast.
for breakfast.
I took advantage of that and went in and brought some family, and we were in the candy cane room. So we were in downtown Gloucester in the candy cane room,
Right.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like I'm on a radio show. Like, hello from the candy cane room.
Oh, we got Michael.
Oh, great.
But people,
you done with your
I've
topic?
heard mixed reviews on people saying $30. That's
so,
kind of
yeah.
pretty.
We're
Why are
just
they
talking
charging
about
$30?
the igloos.
It's not expensive at all. It's you get a max of 6 people. That's basically $5 a head. I mean, it's a great igloo to go. I mean, that's
And the
nothing.
breakfast and something else. I will tell you that the pancakes were stacked higher.
And
than
they're sold out a lot.
the French toast.
Yeah.
Very
And
popular.
I
very
brought my
popular.
family. He went for breakfast Friday. I brought my family to an igloo Friday night, and it was great. The food was great. My daughter Mia and her boyfriend had a great time. My son Brendan was there. But the highlight of that night wasn't just the igloo, but Patrick, the GM, suggested the Irish coffee. And we all know Patrick now. He doesn't do things half-ass.
Mm-hmm.
The Buena Vista in San Fran, I don't know how many of you have been to the Buena Vista, but supposedly that's where the Irish coffee was invented.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Patrick doesn't cut any corners. He gets the same exact glasses that the Buena Vista serves their Irish coffee in, and follows the recipe to the T. And I'm telling you what, if you like Irish coffee,
Well, I
it
got
is a
excited
must.
because I thought you were bringing us some this morning.
You know, Jimmy passes there.
This is what excited me. They took care of us. They invited us.
Yes.
And they comped our breakfast and had us in.
Exactly.
From that point on, you guys went there for breakfast, and all the igloos, because we pimped it.
Yeah.
Was
Friday
sold out for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So that's what made me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's Good Morning Gloucester's reach. We appreciate the fans, the listeners.
We tell you, GMG approved or Joey approved.
GMG
We mean
approved.
it.
All right, there you go.
Get a QR stamp of approval.
QR stamp of approval. All right, we got Michael Dekoster waiting in the wings. Going to bring him along.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, Michael.
everyone. Hey, how's it going?
What's it? Oh, where'd he go?
Oh, I went backstage. I'm back on.
There you are. What's happening?
Not much. How you doing, Joey? Best green room in the business, by the way.
There you go. Well,
M&M's are just around. This is great. This is highly professional.
I wanted to have you on specifically because you guys have your new program coming up, and I want to give you a quick minute to talk about it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the lecture series. We have a lot of new programs coming on for the spring, but we'll start off with that winter lecture series. We're coming on next week, Tuesday is the first one. It's every Tuesday in March, focusing on the history and stories of the schooner. So it's going to be a great lecture series, starting with Justin Dimitri, who kind of walks us through the evolution of a schooner from our using some of the things in our gallery. So it's really good night. It's going to be on Zoom, so go to our website.
Oh, so are they all going to be on Zoom pretty much?
Well, so right now with capacities up until March 22, they would have to be. But we don't know if maybe the last two, we're going to take a look at what we can do. We're planning on it all being virtual this time around. We are looking at maybe having a second lecture series in the early spring, which will be a skills-based lecture series. And if the state guidelines stay like they announced they would be, we may do that one in person.
So I know that Pat's chomping at the bit. I know I'm chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
what are we putting the chances at? And I'm not going to hold you to anything of a schooner festival for 2021.
I knew that was coming up. So festivals are still, and us too, Joey, chomping at the bit. I mean, last summer wasn't summer for me because no schooner festival. But right now, we know we have schooners that are interested in coming. We're still assessing how many would actually be able to be here and which ones would come if everything was turned on. Losing a summer last summer makes a lot of has a heavy financial impact. And when the schooners come to visit us, people may not realize this, but they're giving up one of the best weekends of the year for their chartering business to raise money in their home port to come and visit us. So it's always appreciated when they do. Directly to the question, if the state allows us to do it and gives us enough to notice that we can do it, we will be doing it.
That's huge.
Yeah. Right now, no festivals or fairs are allowed in the current guidelines. So we're hoping that we're one. I think we're one stage away, right? And if it moves to 4.2, I think we'd be able to do something. So that's great.
Well, they went to 100 people for a wedding, so numbers have been coming down rapidly. And if we remember what last summer was like, there was very, very few cases. So it's right around the time when you guys would do it. So let's keep our fingers crossed. No pressure.
We've heard from the state. It's 150 people outdoors, but I think the Schooner Festival draws a few more than that on the boulevard. Yeah. And the good news is that we can have some gatherings like that, we're excited. We're really pleased to hear it. I heard from the state health department that the numbers in the fall of last year outdoors were not significantly worse than they thought they would be when they started letting teams get together in close contact. So maybe that's something we can hang our hat on, that we can do something safely.
What other? I know you mentioned other programs. What other programs do you have coming up at the Maritime Cluster?
Well, we're excited right now because we're building a whole new maritime science education center in our lower level there, where the wet lab used to be. We got a big grant and raised some money from the community. Fantastic support from the community. I mean, in the middle of COVID, for people to be donating and raising for this is just heartwarming. It was really unbelievable. And what's that?
Michael, this is Scottie Mack. I just have a quick question for you. At this new center that you're building, what type of stuff can people expect to learn there? What can they expect out of this center?
So we're making it a public exhibit space that will be right off from the smaller Sea Pocket Aquarium. The touch tanks, the fish, and live animals experience will be moving a little bit inside. We'll have a summer experience outside as well. What we're going to be doing is focusing on themes. We're still developing the interpretation of the site, but we're going to be focusing on themes of the harbor, themes of the fishing, working waterfront, and maritime science, the combination of all of those. The passive visitor will have a good exhibit experience, but we're also designing it so it breaks down when we do field trips for students and when we do our programming with the Gloucester Public Schools. This will be a launching pad. This will be the educational platform that we do that off from now, and being able to do it with live fish in the winter, which is something we haven't been able to do in the past, is going to be huge for the kids.
Yeah, as someone who's a client of Maritime Gloucester, occasionally, it's having that educational experience year round is so important. So you gave me a little tour of that, and it's really going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait. Let me tell you. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for noting that. I should say too, Joey, that Paul is our distinguished race chair for the Schooner Festival. I don't know if you know that or not.
I had no idea.
I didn't.
And so we don't tell him any inside scoops, so you can't get anything from him on a weekly basis. Anyway, yeah. Paul sets up the race, and I think, and just not to lead too much, I think Paul might be busy this summer.
Hey now.
That was a little teaser.
Yeah.
That's what we call in the business, a teaser.
You're gonna have to have me back on.
It's part of sweeps week.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, just how great it is to start seeing things open up. The city's been really good working with us, and boy, the news on Tuesday was like a burden was lifted, and it's just great. We're looking forward to getting our campus ready. We got some new interactive learning stations. We call them SAILs, STEM interactive learning stations, which will be opening up on the pier this year. We got a bunch of little new things that are happening, and we're starting to really gear up. So it's great stuff.
Well, now that we see the numbers coming down so much, and now that we have a full year with seeing what the numbers were like in the summer, which they're almost non-existent, let's hope that we can really get after it and enjoy the summers like we have in the past. And
I'm with you. The data for how much spread the vaccine, if the infection after getting the vaccine is knocked down, the ability to spread it with people who have the vaccine, I think that's the last chit they're waiting for to make some real decisions. But they got everything else, and that's great.
Well, thanks so much. For more information, you can go to www.maritimegloucester.org. As always, Michael, we love having you on. So anytime.
Oh man, thanks for having me. Good to hear and see you guys. Great show today.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, buddy.
Thanks,
Yeah, Mike.
Joe, I think we should go to Marathon, Florida.
I think we should go. We're going to throw to Marathon, Florida right now. We're going to give them the big screen right here.
Look at this.
All right, gentlemen, we've been waiting patiently in the wings. Hold on a second, I got to unmute them because they're talking in the background, so I got to mute them. All right, Russ and John, give us a little background where you guys are at.
So we're in Marathon, Florida. My friend, for those who don't know, I worked for Carnival Cruise Lines for 7 years. John and I, he's still there. He's one of the big executives for Carnival Cruise Lines. And we met when we worked together 28 years ago. He bought a beautiful home, has renovated it down here in Marathon. So I'm meeting actually Joe and Chris on Monday. Came down here for the weekend and spent some time with a great friend.
There you go. So John, what's it like? What's it like being retired?
Retired. What's it like taking care of Russ?
I'm going to have a QR code on my gravestone. You can find out.
And I will come and look at it.
I'm thinking about doing the 50 grand to put one on my penis.
Check,
yeah, it'd be out of order.
Be out of order.
Might only be able to fit the queue.
They pay Russ extra because he's got that huge melon that would show up better on his. You might be able to get 75
about your huge melon. We're outside. We got boats and wind and all kinds of noise, so it's kind of hard to hear.
Sorry, guys. The boats are being put in the water. It's
and
very
this pelican.
Part of the problem.
Hold on.
Hey, Russ, can you show the viewers the big injury you had that fight with the barracuda? Can you show?
Okay, so I'm officially, I can say this. I'm the only person in the world that just got bit by a dead barracuda on a balcony.
On a balcony.
I got a puncture wound in my right leg.
He's bleeding by a stuffed fish.
Hey, John. Being in the cruise industry, can you comment about what kind of opening you foresee and when ships are going to be able to cruise again?
Yeah, that's a really great question. As everyone knows, I mean, we're holding right now, so we're waiting for final approval from the CDC. We're in travel and leisure, and there's still a perception out there. I heard you guys all talking about. I'm really excited that Massachusetts is starting to open up. It's a little different in Florida. We closed the keys down to visitors for 4 months. We're still wearing masks when we go outside, but pretty much everything is running down here. But cruise ships are not allowed to right now, and so we're taking our lead. We're seeing what's happening in the travel industry. We're seeing airplanes and aircraft. I was up in New England. I drove right up. I drove from Marathon, Florida last week. Went up to Maine via 95 and 84 and you see the difference all the way up. And so we are waiting We see the airports are getting back. We see the hotels are starting to come back. We're very optimistic that by summer, we're going to start in Europe first. So in this month, Carnival has 9 brands. And so Carnival Cruise, but we also own Costa and Aida and Cunard and Princess and Holland America. So we're starting in Europe first. We're working with the World Health Organization. So in the United States, we have the CDC. We have to not just worry about the ports that we sail from, but the ports that we visit as well. So when you think about a cruise, and some of you gentlemen will be down here in Florida tomorrow, if we want to go to Key West or we want to go to Grand Cayman or Jamaica, we have to comply with the laws of that region as well. We have to worry about our crew members getting vaccinated. And so we're going through our process, but we're ready to go. We're seeing a strong trend in booking. So demand is not an issue. We have strong demand and we have a loyal fan base. I know some of you guys are going to be on some of our ships at the end of the year, and we're excited to have you, and we're excited as your last guest just to get back to normal. Yeah. So we're optimistic, and we think 21 is going to be a good year for us.
Nice.
John, when you guys finally get back to cruising and stuff, I happen to know a great DJ that might want to travel a bit.
We'll try. We'll see how you can scratch. What type of music do you play?
You name it, I'll play it. I mean, I'm very versatile.
He plays the chicken dance at weddings.
I never.
Very nice.
You nailed it. That on my resume. That being said, I'm hired.
And just so you know, I'm going to be the first to go out and say, I talked to Chris and Joe. We're going to pay you in homemade brew. So you let us know if that works for you.
If you do that, he'll pay you in homemade brew.
A lot of my contracts include beverages, so
that's all this one will include.
Thank you very much for your consideration, boys.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice background, though, huh? I bet you guys put the shorts and T-shirt and go outside.
What's the temperature there, John?
It's in the 80s today.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, yesterday we took the jet ski out. 4 hours yesterday on the jet ski, honest to God.
Hence why we got red faces.
We must have saw 15 dolphins.
Hey, John, did Russ have his Speedo on yesterday?
You know him better than I do. He never takes it off. It's
creepy. And that's why all the dolphins.
It's just creepy.
Actually, if I scan it down, you can see it.
You'll see it tomorrow, Chris.
Yeah, I can't wait.
The dolphins.
Hey, listen, I got to put the question out. Why do we live in New England? Think about it.
Russ, can you give us a little preview of the 2021 Bishop Fenwick baseball team being the coach?
So everybody knows that we lost our entire season last year, which was terrible for the kids. So we were able to pick up a little bit in the fall. So we are actually postponed the start of our season till April 26th so the football kids can play. So they've already started this season. They end on the 25th. We start on the 26th. So as of right now, we are going to have a sectional tournament, not a Massachusetts tournament. So the kids will be able to compete for a championship, which is great. Bishop Fenwick is doing great. We have a great team. We have about 7 seniors. We got a lot of kids that have transferred into Fenwick. Reason being is they were kind of going through more in school than some of the publics. So we feel really good about our team, and the kids are working hard, and they're very, as you can imagine, losing an entire season. These baseball kids are very eager to get back out there, so I'm looking forward to it.
I know a lot of people really went after and wanted to put their kids into private schools because of the ones that in some communities they were only sending the kids to school 2 days a week. Gloucester actually sent the kids 5 days a week, which was really nice. But there's a lot of communities that they didn't have that. If your son is a tremendous baseball player, who should they contact at Bishop Fenwick High School to get them on the roster?
Yeah, absolutely me. It's rs@fenwick.org. Welcome it. It's a great school. Education comes first, and we got it. As we know, we're all kind of graduates of Fenwick. We're very, very proud of the school. Reach out to me, and I'll be glad to introduce you. We have our own pitching coach this year. We got state-of-the-art facilities, and we're really proud of our program and our school.
Yeah, you have invested in that program in equipment and training facilities year after year. You just keep pounding money into it, and it's if you're a baseball player, it's one of the elite places to go. So rs@fenwick.org is Russ's number. If your son is an elite baseball player, contact Russ and he'll take good care of you.
And hey, Russ, Gloucester has some representation on your team, correct?
Yeah, the Destino family. So Tucker,
Right.
Destino, Alex Destino. So
Yeah.
Alex and I played college baseball together, and now I get to coach his son. So it's come full circle. It's a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I think this might be a good time for this week's segment of Bizarre Foods.
Okay.
And
We didn't have it?
no.
Oh.
Well, that was Bizarre Drink, but I found this in my refrigerator.
Oh, no.
And I brought some wheat thins, and I even brought a little
Our very own Anthony Bourdain
knife.
here.
So can you read that? What is that, Jimmy?
In France, it says it's good till 2024. That's all I care.
That's all you This week's segment of Bizarre Foods, and this is duck liver. Duck liver.
my God.
I bought this from France when I was there. I just opened it. You heard the pop.
We got the duck.
This is fresh.
Oh, no.
Right. We
That
got
looks disgusting. Hold on. Hold it up. Let me hold it up. No. Hold on a second.
Yes. Well, that's the duck fat on top. But if you,
The Pelicans got something to say.
Isn't that, that's the
Don't eat the duck, please.
He's got the button. Not the duck. Do it again, Mike. Do it again. It smells horrible. It smells.
this week's.
It smells. No.
We all got to do one.
No.
This is why Paul zoomed in, so he can sit at home and watch this.
This is what they call foie gras. This Oh, it smells like.
Enjoy.
It smells like, I just got a sniffer.
Don't be stingy on that now. Good Lord.
Hey,
Pat, would you like to?
Yes, thank you.
I don't know. I'm usually in for a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know about this.
All right, here we go.
smells like chicken.
This is duck liver from France.
Here goes the French duck liver.
Here we go. Cheers.
Good luck.
You're supposed to do
Probably pretty good. Not
Okay.
bad.
I mean, that's heavy. That is good shit.
We can't do
I mean,
double
no, it has a slight dog food taste. Oh wait,
Oh, Jesus.
Oh wait, it is.
Lou's listening.
Oh wait, it is.
Oh, poor Scottie.
Well, that's
Wow, that
something
is
we don't need to
good.
do.
Joe, as the host, how would you rank this?
I put that just above the Mashubi.
You want another?
No, thank you.
Wow.
I can't untaste that.
I put it,
Chris,
okay.
you must like dog food.
If the tripe is a 1 on a scale from 1 to 10, I put the Mashubi. What did I put the Mashubi at last?
0.
Week? No, I didn't put the Mashubi at a 0.
It was less than the tripe, if I'm remembering correctly.
That was disgusting.
No, I would have rather had the Mashubi than
Okay,
the tripe.
all right.
Okay.
The tripe was the worst. I think I put the Mashubi at on a scale from 1 to 10. I think I put the Mashubi at a 5 or a 4.
Ooh.
And I put this at a. I put the Mashubi at a 5. I put this at a 4 and 1 to 2.
Wow.
Scotty, where are you at?
Disgusting all around.
Did you try the tripe when he brought it?
Nope.
I have
I
more
wasn't here
tripe.
for it. I
I'll bring
wasn't
it.
here.
Okay, can you follow the instructions? 1 to 10.
1 to 10
Yeah.
on 1 being the worst.
Worse, yeah.
Give it a 1. I didn't like it at all.
Okay. Well, there's levels.
No,
of-
all right, okay.
There's
Look at
levels of
Jimmy's
how-
going for double. He's double dipping.
Wait, I didn't puke, so I gotta edge it up. All right, I'll give it about a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
I give it a
wouldn't do
10.
I would not do that again.
Chris gives it.
You know how much? You know how much this cost? I mean,
Why would you buy that? Why would you legitimately buy that?
because I love it.
Like, I'm trying to figure out what part is duck.
The brown stuff.
The brown.
And what's that on top?
That's
the
fat. That's duck
That's
fat.
duck fat.
I'd like to take a moment and say happy birthday to Paula Ryan O'Brien.
Happy birthday, Paula.
Birthday.
They're just eating the fringe.
All right. So, I'm cracking just to try to.
That's what I had to do. Oof.
Chris can't stop eating it.
I know.
So, Chris, did you talk
digging
about
in.
Rossetti's yet?
What is this shit?
No, yeah.
All right. Why don't you talk about Rossetti's?
Rossetti's, new restaurant in Beverly, right next to
Hopefully.
Whole Foods. I guess they have a location in Lynn and Winthrop.
Yep.
And the food is great. Service is great. Great atmosphere. We went the other night to try it out. Joe's first time. It was my second time. Cocktails were great. We got a Smoky Robinson, which is basically like an old fashioned that they smoke. But the way it was presented to us, it was in like these separate two crystal
like
decanters.
Decanter, yeah. Filled with smoke.
With smoke, and then the bourbon on the bottom, and then they poured it right in front of us, and the smoke was coming out. It was a great way to serve it.
It's a great, and it's what I thought was very interesting that I would point out about it would be how nice of a room it is, and in that location, I don't think that there's anything within 5 miles of that location. So all the people in that neighborhood right there have a real nice place to go for dinner.
Yeah.
I didn't see if they're open for lunch or breakfast.
No.
Do you know? Just
Dinner
dinner.
or anything.
Just dinner. Yeah. I think it's one of those restaurants everybody should try for sure.
Yeah. And we bumped into some friends that we knew there too.
Oh, nice.
Yep, we did. And
this is getting better and better.
Your portions are getting taller and
so
taller.
we also went to this. Who we want to speak about? We went to the Agawam Diner.
Yeah.
Jimmy, that's Jimmy.
We walked in the door.
You walked in the
We set
exit.
ourselves in a booth. It was very well, spaced, so there wasn't a lot of people. We sat down, and when you go to this diner, what was great is they had the whole sheet with all the specials, and then you had to flip it over to even see more.
I was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed
by the menu choice.
No,
Oh.
I had in my head, because I hadn't been there in a long time, that the Agawam Diner was this unbelievable place. When I just remember it was a treat to go to the Agawam Diner, and we went and I got fried haddock and fries, and the fries were kind of like the fries that you would get at grade school. And they weren't very crisp. They weren't crispy.
Soggy and cold.
They weren't cold.
Crinkle cut fries?
No, they're just like the white fries that are not some frozen French fries. And it was nothing out of the ordinary about I think that at some point that place was probably like such a great place to go to. And now in the past 15 years or so, restaurants have upped their game in the last 15 years. There's so many great places to go. And they've probably been stagnant because they've probably done the same recipes the same way they've done them forever, that I was just not impressed.
They had specials, daily specials. And so that day was chicken pot pie, something else I came in. There was 2 or 3.
I got a club sandwich, tuna fish club sandwich, and mine was pretty good. The tuna was good.
Yours looked good.
And I got the coleslaw, and their coleslaw is finely.
I like to try
minced,
coleslaw
chopped.
at places. Yeah.
I like their coleslaw.
It was, when I go to a diner like that, the first thing I think of is breakfast, and they serve it all day.
Yep.
So I went and I got the omelet and rye toast, which it was good.
You know, it's a pretty
It was
tremendous coleslaw in town. It's Stone's. Stone's has got a great coleslaw.
I think the other reason I might have been disappointed is because I mentioned like 5 minutes before we got there, like we're not too far away from the Rusty Can.
Oh, that's right.
And we decided, no, we're going to the cigar bar, which is it's not cigar lounge, I guess you would call it. That's directly next to the Agawam Diner. So we might as well try it because we haven't been there for a while. But so if I'm in that area, I'm going to the Rusty Can 10 out of 10 times.
Absolutely.
I'm going to the Rusty Can 100 out of 100 times.
Well, I wanted to go there, but the two guys that were in the car with me all grabbed the wheel and said, no, we're going to follow the plan. We're always changing things. We are going to stick with the plan.
Yeah, good point.
I did what the guys in the car told me.
You did. And what was the pizza place that the guy recommended?
Was that the one we were at? That's good.
It's by the golf course.
What is it called?
By the New Meadows Golf Course. It's on Route 1. It's an Italian family that owns it. It's sort of like in a strip mall, but they own the whole building. And there's a little outside picnic tables, umbrellas, and an inside room and stuff. And they really suggested there to go with the pizza. It was we call it the oven.
Brick oven
pizza.
But the highlight,
we can't think of the name of it. So actually,
I'll see if I can find it.
But the highlight of that day was what? Do you remember what the highlight of the day was?
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah,
Dairy Queen on the way home.
DQ.
We stopped. Russ, we stopped at the Dairy Queen that Taylor works at. And I didn't get a discount, by the way. I was trying to work the young staff. Oh, they're not?
I got to get rid of them. Right.
Oh, is it just an empty table?
Yeah.
So we went to Dairy Queen. We're usually at McDonald's. The last few times we've gotten the McDonald's soft serve. But we went to DQ, and I think, Jimmy, you were the one who said, I like Dairy Queen.
Oh, first of all, two things. The soft serve is fantastic, but all the machines are working.
And all the machines are working.
So you can go in. But you had something at Dairy Queen that I had no idea what it was. You asked what it was, and they said, "Oh yeah, we can get you one."
The peanut Buster bar.
Buster bar.
I mean, I think the peanut Buster bar is at least 50 years old. I mean, that's one of the
and there's boxes of peanut Buster bars in there.
Yeah, you could buy the box, but yeah, Dairy Queen's one of my favorite, man.
Might it be the pizza that you're talking about? Osteria Pepino?
That's it.
That's exactly what it was. We got to do a field trip there because I like pizza.
We stopped there kind of just on a whim one day, and it was awesome.
Wait. Say the name again, Pat, because
you're killing me.
You just had it.
I know, but you're making. Is this to make fun of how I pronounce things?
No, because we glossed over it, and the whole idea is to share with the people what we were talking about.
Osteria
Pepino.
Osteria Pepino. There you go.
Right. Thank you, Paul.
Pat, how many shares do we have today so far?
We have 9.
Any other listeners join in? Any other new names?
Ferris, your son has been absent from school 9 times.
I'll take the 0.
I don't think we shouted out to Chris Thompson or Michael Bertolino. Patrick T. McNally is with us. Mike Fabaza. Those are people whose names I don't think we know.
I'm rooting for somebody this week that's never won before. Not to take away from the others, but I can feel it. Somebody that's never won is going to win this week.
Yeah.
So I'm looking. I looked up the Osteria Pepino Pizzeria on the One Bite app. Everybody knows the rules, and it gets a 7.5.
Wow.
Which is a good score.
Yeah. What does the duck liver get?
Oh,
the One Bite.
Good Lord.
This is heaven. I mean, this was at least $3.
Why don't you put that on
in France 5 years ago?
This was $3 euros.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's at least $4 here in the States.
Osteria Pepino. All right. Did you talk about the cigar bar? I don't think we should talk about that cigar.
Yeah, we don't want the secret out.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one.
You just told everybody where it was.
That's a joke. It's kind of a joke. So, Pat, why don't you talk about camp?
Oh,
Band
camp.
Our friend Jim Capillo shared Cape Ann Media Productions promo on YouTube, which I will try to share now, if I can do that. So anybody that has media production needs, this is the place to go.
He just got that drone Well, he has an upgraded drone, as he told us, and he has done so many different production with the drone, and this one just brings it up a lot too.
All right, Pat, there you go. You got it.
Speaking of drones, have you guys heard now about tuna fishing with drones?
Really?
No.
How to find this?
They're like bait drones. They can hold up to 4 pounds, and they have a release for the bait and everything. Yeah, so they can, in some of the harpoon boats, and they have plane scout planes. They're now using drones.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I thought was really interesting.
That's cool.
I don't know what the laws are on.
You hear they have
on that
DJ drones?
They do have DJ drones. they circle the boat when we're on a cruise and film my next promo.
So good luck to keeping media production.
Oh yeah, good job, Jim.
Oh, we give them that. We got that. Okay. We got to give people 30 seconds to share it. If you share it, what do we decide what the class is?
Well, Paul is offering a certificate to the bookstore of Gloucester.
Oh, very generous. Oh. Thank you, Paul.
While we're waiting for people to get their shares in, let's go ahead and vote for Becca Rose Murray. The link is going to be on Good Morning Gloucester.
It's easy. Yeah,
on
it's
blog.
on there already, and it's easy to do. I've done it each day since we had the podcast. So.
2021 Cover Girl Contest for Inked Magazine. So if you're a tattoo, or if you'd like to support Becca, cast your vote on the link.
There you go. All right, Carol Mondella just shared it.
Number 10.
She's number 10. All right. If you share it and write share, just like Carol just did, you will be entered to win.
You liked it.
Gift certificate. And how do they get the gift certificate?
Well, this will be picked Paul might speak to this, but I think they picked it up at the bookstore. I think it's 11.
Yeah, I'll just call the bookstore and give the name of the winner, and they just go in and there it is.
All right, great. All right, we're gonna do we'll do the drawing right now. So there's 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, you're missing all the treats and the drink here.
Yeah, on purpose.
Paul, I'll save you some of this.
My mother just shared
a little pâté de foie gras. Oui.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That's the way it sounds too. A little bit later.
All right, here we go.
You got 11, right?
We got 11. Yeah, we got 11. I'm gonna make this big here, and this is for the win.
Oh,
the fixer is in.
Right.
The fixer's in. Mama just won. Oh, that's hilarious.
Nice.
Wow, that's BS.
Oh, nice.
No, well,
this is under review.
Last minute entries count as much as all of the other ones. Yes.
All you gotta do is share.
Scottie got your wish.
We tell
new.
Yes, somebody that's never won before, right?
Yes.
You got your wish.
Yeah, there it is.
You know what? My mother enters all the time too, so I'm happy she won.
Yeah.
You said
Congratulations, Mama.
Yeah.
Okay, Pat, the certificate will be there for you.
It's the second one down, or
it's a good way to end the
Okay. This is, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. So, do you
want me to ask the question and then you can rebuttal to it? Or do you want to say what your thoughts are?
Just do it. Everybody's on
I can read, Joe, yes.
Good.
I have my glasses on and everything today.
Go ahead.
Look at that.
Go.
First.
On our show notes, so well put together by Pat Delpiaz.
Pat
Delpiaz. Who knows what an EEF is? Who knows what an EEF is? And I don't even know if this is the right spelling. However,
I believe it is. EAF.
EAF. I've seen it spelled EIF. But what is an EEF? It's a local term. And Joey, what do you think an EEF is? You looked it up in the Urban Dictionary, okay? But what is your take on what an EEF is?
I know what an EEF is.
Oh, you do?
From what I think we may have spoken about this on the podcast last time.
No,
we didn't. Okay,
we did.
Yes.
So Michael Bertolino knows. So it isn't just for my father. My father used to call useless men EEFs, like this guy.
Yeah.
He's useless. He's no good to anybody.
It's an acronym, and the first word is EPIC. It's a 3-letter acronym, and the first letter is EPIC. The first word is EPIC, and the middle is and the last is F.
That's that's kind of counter to what
the
common understanding. So EPIC as
well, that's not the way that local people like my father used it, or as Michael Bertolino understands it. Patrick McNally says a guy full of himself but delusional in that perspective. Michael Bertolino says an idiot. My father would always use it as, oh, that guy's a fucking eef. He's just a useless, he's a guy that probably couldn't support his family or just like a lazy person. Not, just a.
And you know what else too, Joe?
Like
it's not only the word; it's how you say the word too. Like the eef.
Yeah,
it's like, eef.
I've not heard that phrase.
So here's the question. The question is, I know that because Nicole knew it. Michael Bertolino and Patrick McNally knew it. Scottie, you knew it.
I kind of chalked it up to be the equivalent of a nitwit.
Right, but you'd heard the term.
Yeah, I've heard the term.
Jimmy and Pat had not.
I had not.
Chris had not.
Chris is from Danvers, right? Originally?
Bex didn't either.
So
she grew up here.
So that's what I'm wondering, is if it's a local thing or...
I think it's definitely a local thing. Bex
didn't know what it was.
Bex didn't come from here. Bex is from Cambridge.
And you're from New York, so you wouldn't know.
Beck's mother was a fishmonger who in Cambridge Square that provided the fish for Julia Child.
Right, I know that part of it. Wow.
Ooh, wow, that's
a
little bit of history right there.
Yeah, I guess it might be.
I think that's interesting.
Or maybe Italian?
No, not Italian.
No?
Not Italian.
Okay.
You know how people cough and they say the word because they don't want to say it?
It
sounds like it's
or when you're pooping, like Eve.
No, you definitely want to. If you're gonna call somebody an Eve, it's very prominent. Eve.
That guy's an Eve.
The guy's an Eve. You say it because you don't.
It doesn't sound like it's the same as Egypt.
My father. It would be like something like when I was really young that my father, like you'd see someone, or like say there was some like lazy relative or something like that. He'd be like, just to prove point, to like. You don't want to be like that, Eve. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like that. So Pat McNally says it was commonly used in Gloucester, especially back in the 80s. That's what he says. I think that's interesting.
So that
I'd love to know the origin.
The origin.
I want to know how far it goes as far as where people.
I think we should put Paul on the case. A project for Paul.
Okay, project time.
Yeah. So if anybody else,
Project Eve.
What I'd like to know. So Carol Mondello says her mom used that word when, and I could see Carol Mondello's mother using it because she is a very sarcastic kind of person. I could totally see her like pronouncing it and using it very effectively. So if you're watching the podcast right now. And I would actually like to hear from you if you've never heard of the term, and I'd like you to say where you heard, where you're from, so we can see where it's from. Wayne Moulton says it's a polite way of calling someone an asshole. Actually, I don't think it's polite at all. Like if someone calls you an eef,
you deserved it,
and you don't and you just cower to that. Like those are fighting words. Like you know what I mean. Like you're. That's completely taken away your manhood. You know what I mean? Really? Totally, yeah. I think. So no one on here, no one that's because we.
But it is kind of gender specific though for men, right?
I would say definitely for men. Yeah, definitely for men. So I haven't
women
heard.
Is an eighth. So
okay, so Dawn Burnham is from Melrose and she's never heard of the word. So it must be a Gloucester thing.
I think it's a Gloucester.
That's what I would see. Paul Ryan O'Brien from upstate New York. Never heard of it. Ed Collard. Oh, okay. So here it is. Ed Collard remembers it being used in the trucking industry in Boston in the 70s, usually preceded by effing. He's an effing Eve.
Okay.
So it wasn't just Gloucester then. It's interesting.
Well, I think it could have made its way this way because the trucking at Americold and the Crow's Nest used to be a big trucking bar.
Yeah.
So it probably made its way this way and kind of just lingered around.
Well, Ed didn't live in Gloucester back then.
No, the trucking from Boston, though, I'm saying. The truckers came up here. If it was a trucking term out of Boston, they come this way. Kind of migrated this way and kind of hung on, I think.
Pat McNally says, my first hearing of it was Mark Enos describing other guys. That guy's an Eve. Easily heard as early as the mid to late 70s. I would say mid to late 70s as well, because that's when I was a child and my father would use it, referring to.
I wish we had the hockey guys again because we'd be asking.
What kind of a campaign can we get together to get this on Urban Dictionary?
Well, you can submit things to Urban Dictionary. It's just like Wikipedia.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can actually put EF in. Now here's Patrick McNally spelling it EEF.
See, they did a little few different spellings.
I pronounce it EAF, and I don't know if that's
EIF,
right or wrong.
BI Bicky Bill, BA Bo.
Yeah, I want you to get the guy from Caddyshack on.
Oh yes. You know what? I will get on that. That's another. I'll get on that project.
That's a project. All right, we have the winner. The podcast.
Yep.
All right,
Pat.
Wow, we're an hour and 20 minutes. This is a long one.
Yep.
We thank you guys for coming. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
I love our meetings.
Again, thanks to Michael Dekoster for being on today too.
Thanks to Mike Dekoster. Russ and John from Key Marathon Key,
and the kids and
the kids.
Beer with the
Pygmies down in New Guinea.
Family, thanks for sharing.
Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you all. Thanks, Joey.